Welcome to the Ultimate Sports Blog Podcast. Today is Saturday, August 4th, 2018. I'm just going to get right into the baseball because I have a lot to do on a podcast where I don't have much time. The Cubs defeated the Padres 5-4 yesterday afternoon. The Cubs improved to 63-46. The Padres dropped to 43-69. Jose Quintana improves to 10-7. Tyson Ross drops to 6-9. Pedro Strop gets his sixth save of the season. The Phillies defeated the Marlins 5-1 as they improved to 61-48. Miami drops to 46-65. Vince Velasquez improves to 8-8. Trevor Richards drops to 3-6. Sir Anthony Dominguez gets his 12th save of the season. The Pirates defeated the Cardinals 7-6 as they improved to 57-53. The Cardinals dropped to 56-54. Kyle Crick improves to 2-1. John Hicks drops to 3-3. Felipe Vasquez gets his 25th save of the year. The Red Sox defeated the Yankees 4-1. Rick Purcell with the complete game shutout. The Red Sox improved to a Major League best 77-34. The Yankees dropped to 68-40. Rick Porcello improves to 14-4. Luis Severino drops to 14-5. The Angels defeated the Indians 7-4. Shohei Ohtani had 2 home runs in this game. The Angels improved to 55-56. The Indians dropped to 59-49. Justin Anderson improves to 3-2. Oliver Perez drops to 0-1. The Braves defeated the Mets 2-1 as they improved to 59-47. The Mets dropped to 44-63. Anibal Sanchez improves to 6-3. Jacob deGrom drops to 5-7. AJ Minter gets his 8th save of the year. The White Sox defeated the Rays 3-2 in 10 innings as they improved to 39-70. Tampa Bay drops to 56-54. Yoan Moncada had the go-ahead RBI double in the 10th inning. Tyler Danish gets the win for Chicago 1-0 now. Jose Alvarado with the loss drops to 1-4. Hector Santiago gets his first save of the season. The Rangers defeated the Orioles 11-3 as they improved to 48-63. The Orioles dropped to 33-77. Ariel Gerardo improves to 2-1. David Hess drops to 2-6. The Brewers defeated the Rockies 5-3, courtesy of a walk-off homer by Eric Thames. 3-run shot. The Brewers improved to 64-49. The Rockies dropped to 58-51. Corbin Burns improves to 2-0. Wade Davis drops to 1-5. The Twins defeated the Royals 6-4 as they improved to 50-58. KC drops to 34-75. Gabriel Moya improves to 1-0. Brian Flynn drops to 1-3. Fernando Rodney gets his 23rd save of the year. The Diamondbacks defeated the Giants 6-3 as they improved to 61-50. San Francisco drops to 56-55. Patrick Corbin improves to 8-4. Chris Stratton drops to 8-7. Brad Boxberger gets his 26th save of the year. The Astros defeated the Dodgers 2-1 as they improved to 70-41. The Dodgers dropped to 61-50. Justin Verlander improves to 11-6. Alex Wood drops to 7-6. Hector Rondon gets his 11th save of the year. The Athletics defeated the Tigers 1-0 in 13 innings as they improved to 65-46. The Tigers dropped to 47-63. Emilio Pagan improves to 3-0. Buck Farmer drops to 3-4. The walk-off hit was a single by Ramon Laureano in his Major League debut. The Blue Jays defeated the Mariners 7-2 as they improved to 50-59. The Mariners dropped to 63-47. Ryan Baroki improves to 1-2. Marco Gonzalez drops to 12-6. Reds Nationals postponed for today, so they have a doubleheader. Game 1, 1 o'clock. Today, Anthony DeSclafani and Gio Gonzalez. 2:20 Padres Cubs. Walter Lockett and Kyle Hendricks. Yankees Red Sox, Fox Sports 1. Chance Adams, Nathan Eovaldi. Give me the Red Sox. They're poised to just break this division open and run away from the Yankees. White Sox, Rays, Carlos Rodon and Blake Snell. That's 6 o'clock. 7 o'clock, Marlins, Phillies, Jose Arena and Zach Eflin. Cardinals, Pirates, Austin Gomber and Ivan Nova. Game 2 of the doubleheader between the Reds and the Nationals, Matt Harvey and Jeremy Hellickson. Angels, Indians, Fox Sports 1. Felix Pena and Corey Kluber. The Indians are going to win this game. They'll bounce back from their loss last night. Rockies, Brewers. Tyler Anderson and Freddie Peralta. Royals, Twins. Bert Smith and Jose Berrios. Braves, Mets. Kevin Gausman making his Braves debut. And Zach Wheeler going for the Mets. Orioles, Rangers, Dylan Bundy and Mike Minor. That was an 8 o'clock game, as well as Giants, Diamondbacks. Andrew Suarez and Clay Buchholz. 9 o'clock Tigers, Athletics. Jordan Zimmerman and Edwin Jackson. Astros, Dodgers, Lance McCullers Jr. and Kenta Maeda. Last but not least, 10 o'clock, Blue Jays, Mariners, Marco Estrada and James Paxton. Something I forgot to mention on yesterday's podcast, Sonny Gray was removed from the Yankees rotation. Today would have been his start. Instead, they go with the rookie Chance Adams, who's called up from AAA. Has had a disappointing year in AAA, but has pitched better of late. So they're taking a chance in a big spot unless they really think that they don't have a chance to win the American League East. Another thing that I want to talk about, Urban Meyer yesterday sent out a statement saying that he made a mistake at the Big Ten Media Day and basically admitting that he knew about the 2015 situation, so he lied at Big Ten Media Day. Now the question is whether Urban Meyer gets fired or not. I already heard names thrown out there as possible replacements, such as Oklahoma State's Mike Gundy and Iowa State's Matt Campbell. We'll see who else will be in play for this job because it's very, very intriguing. It's a top 5 job in college football. And speaking of football, now I'm going to do in the series continue of rankings. Team rankings are finished today. We'll be closing that portion up with defenses. And on tomorrow's podcast, I'll start individual rankings. Number 32 for defense rankings is the Indianapolis Colts. Yes, this team added some talent in the offseason, whether it was the draft or free agency, but there's still not a lot of talent on this roster defensively. Anthony Johnson is one of their D linemen. He's okay. Zaire Franklin was somebody that they drafted. I like Terrell Adams. And in the secondary, Malik Hooker's a good player. I expect him to make a jump in year 2 from year 1. This is a defense with some young talent, but will take time to develop. Number 31 is the Cleveland Browns, a team that made some improvements in the offseason on that side of the football. And they also have some guys that I expect to make leaps, such as last year's number 1 overall pick, Myles Garrett on that defensive line. Carl Nassib's a solid player. Emmanuel Agba is someone I could see making a jump. Joe Sherbert's a solid linebacker. Michael Kendricks will prove to be a good addition in the offseason. Their secondary isn't great, although they added Demarius Randall, the former Packer, in the offseason. Number 30 is the Miami Dolphins, a team that I do not think is talented whatsoever. They got a lot of talent out the door last offseason with the departure of Ndamukong Suh on the defensive line. Cameron Wake's still on this D-line. He's a solid player. Robert Quinn's okay. They traded for him in the offseason. Kiko Alonso's solid on the linebacker and defensive backs. There's not one that I could raise my eyes and be like, oh, they got so-and-so, other than the rookie Minkah Fitzpatrick. Number 29 is the Dallas Cowboys. That's a team that lacks a lot of talent on that side of the ball. I know they're getting younger on that side of the ball. Taco Charlton could be a player that could make a leap in year 2. Coney Early could be a good offseason acquisition. DeMarcus Lawrence is a solid player on their defensive line. Sean Lee is still manning the linebacking core. Their secondary is no good. Couple key losses in the offseason. Byron Jones is somebody that they have to rely on to improve. Number 28 is the Detroit Lions. Ezekiel Anton leads the way on their defensive line. They added some other guys on that side of the football that they think will improve themselves, whether it was draft or free agency. Their linebacking core isn't that great. Devon Kennard, the ex-Giants, in there. Their secondary is okay. Glover Quinn is somebody that's improved the last couple years, as well as Darius Slay. Number 27 is the Green Bay Packers. This defense isn't great either. Their defensive line is not great. Muhammad Wilkerson, the ex-Jet, is on there. Linebacking core, you still got Clay Matthews leading the way there. Defensive backs, I mentioned they had some key losses with Randall. Clinton Dix is still around. Josh Jackson's somebody that can have an impact as a rookie. Number 26 is the San Francisco 49ers. Their defense has a lot of young guys on it. DeForest Buckner's somebody they expect to be better, as well as Eric Armstead on their D-line. Malcolm Smith leads the way with their linebacking core, as well as Reuben Foster, who looks like will be playing week 1. Their secondary is probably the weakest part of their defense. Jimmy Ward's still around, though. He's okay. Number 25 is the New England Patriots. This team lost a lot of talent over the last couple of years defensively. Their D-line isn't great. That's probably the weakest part of their defense. Danny Shelton might be a good acquisition. Trey Fowlers is somebody that the Patriots like. Dante Hightower's still around to lead the linebacking core. Kyle Van Noy's somebody that is solid. Their secondary isn't terrible. Stephon Gilmore's a good corner. Patrick Chung's a good safety. Devin McCourty's a good safety. Jason McCourty's a good corner. And they obviously moved on from Malcolm Butler this offseason. Number 24 is the Oakland Raiders. This team has some flashy pieces on defense, such as Khalil Mack on the defensive line. Bruce Irvin's a solid player who's an edge rusher. And what sucks for the Raiders is that Mack didn't even report yet. And he's a great player. And the Raiders might be looking at a disappointing season if he isn't back in time. Their secondary isn't great. They're thinking Carl Joseph could make a leap. Darryl Worley is somebody that they think should be better. As well as Garyon Conley, who was their first-round pick last year. Number 23 is the Tennessee Titans. It's a defense that's young. Jarrell Casey's a very underrated edge rusher. Lead the way on that D-line. Rashaan Evans will be a solid rookie, as well as Harold Landry. Derek Morgan's a good linebacker, too, as well as Brian Orakpo. Maybe I should have ranked this group higher. Malcolm Butler joins their secondary. Adoree Jackson's a good player in their secondary. Returns kicks and punts as well. Number 22 is the Pittsburgh Steelers. This ranking would have been a little higher if Ryan Shazier was healthy, but he's not. Their D-line is led by Cam Hayward, who's become one of the better D-linemen in the league over the last couple years. Shazier's a big loss with the linebacking core. Bud Dupree, somebody that they would like to be better. TJ Watt's a good linebacker, too. Can't forget about him. Their secondary, they expect to be better. Morgan Burnett's a good safety. Artie Burns is a good corner. Joe Hayden's a good corner. Number 21 is the Washington Redskins. Team that has some young pieces on defense that they hope can make a bit of a leap for them. such as Jonathan Allen, going to be in year 2. Deron Payne was somebody that was brought in via the draft. Ryan Kerrigan's their top linebacker. Their secondary's okay. Josh Norman really hasn't panned out for them as they'd like. Orlando Scandrick, the ex-Cowboys, in that secondary as well. Number 20 is the New York Jets. They have a young defense that could be improved from last year. Their defense is obviously the strength of their team. They have Leonard Williams leading the way on their defensive line. Their linebacking core is okay. Darren Lee, I think, will be a solid player in the league someday. Avery Williamson's okay. Their secondary is going to be pretty good. I like Jamal Adams, the safety. Morris Claiborne will be a good addition as a corner, as well as Tremaine Johnson. J.J. Wilcox is a nice safety. Buster Skrine's a good corner as well. Number 19 is the New York Giants. So, ironically enough, I have the 2 New York teams back-to-back on this defense list. The Giants' defense could be higher or lower than this ranking, depending on how some guys perform this year. So I could potentially overrate them or underrate them. Damon Snacks Harrison leads the way on that defensive line, as well as Olivier Vernon. They're hoping Lorenzo Carter will make an impact as a rookie linebacker. Landon Collins is the key cog in that secondary. Eli Apple, they hope, has a better year than last year. Janoris Jenkins had an off-season issue, but I think he'll have a better year than he did last year. Darian Thompson missed a year last year. They think he'll have an impact on their defense. A bit of a low ranking for a team that's known for their defense the last couple years, and that's the Seattle Seahawks, who I have at number 18 on this list. A lot of lost guys. Their defensive line consists of the ex-Dolphin Deion Jordan. Rasheem Green, they hope, will have an impact as a rookie. A lot of losses on the defensive end and the line, obviously, as well. Shaquem Griffin, they hope, will have an impact with the linebacking core. KJ Wright's a nice player. Bobby Wagner's still around. Barkevius Mingo. The Seahawks are taking shots on guys that haven't panned out in the past. Their secondary's a lot weaker with the departure of Richard Sherman. Earl Thomas didn't report. Cam Chancellor's retiring. Byron Maxwell's still around in that secondary. So this team could very well be in a lot of trouble come this season. And it has to be due to their defense. Number 17 is a defense I think will take a jump, and that is the Chicago Bears. Eddie Goldman is somebody that they think will be better coming into the season on their defensive line. They also like John Jenkins on their D-line. Their linebacking core, they expect to be better. Leonard Floyd, they expect to have a better sophomore season than rookie season. Roquan Smith is somebody that they have to get signed. Their secondary, they have some veterans in there. Prince Amukamara. Kyle Fuller's a young player in their secondary that they like. Eddie Jackson, someone that they like, the safety. And Kevin Tolliver, the draftee, is someone that they think will have an impact for them on their defense. Number 16 is the Arizona Cardinals. Yes, they did lose Tyrann Mathieu to their defense, but I still think their defense is solid for the most part, and I think a big part of that will be the presence of their new head coach, Steve Wilks, who is the defensive coordinator for the Carolina Panthers. On the D-line, Chandler Jones is still there. Robert Nadipike, they expect to be better. He hasn't really panned out for them. Hassan Reddick, they like to make a leap in year 2. Their secondary still has Patrick Peterson in there. Although I mentioned that they lost Tyrann Mathieu. Trey Boston was a good addition to that secondary too, by the way. Number 15 is the Cincinnati Bengals, a team that still has some talent on the defensive side of the football. Michael Johnson's still on their defensive line. Geno Atkins is still there too. Carl Lawson, they like as a linebacker. Vontaze Burfict is facing a suspension to start the season. Malik Jefferson was a good draft pick. Secondary's okay. Derkeezy Denard I like. Devontae Harris was a good draft pick. William Jackson's a nice corner, as well as Dre Kirkpatrick. So this is a nice defense that the Bengals have here. Number 14, a bit high for a team that I don't think is going to be good this year, and that's the Buffalo Bills. The Bills' defense was a big part of them making the playoffs a year ago under Sean McDermott. Star Lutulelli is new to this defensive line. Shaq Lawson, they like. Jerry Hughes is a good defensive end. Eddie Yarbrough, the Bills like. Tremaine Edmonds, I think, will be a solid draft pick. Lorenzo Alexander's a good linebacker, too. Vontae Davis might be a good addition. Less pressure on him now that he's no longer on the Colts. Tre'Davious White's a good corner as well. Number 13 is the Denver Broncos. I expect this unit as a whole to bounce back after a bad year last year. I don't love Denver's offense, though, as I mentioned, ranking the offenses. This is still a good defense, though, led by Von Miller, who's one of the better edge rushers in the league. The D-line isn't all that great other than Miller. Bradley Chubb is somebody that's going to help on the D-line. I think he'll be in play for the Defensive Rookie of the Year. Shane Ray, the Broncos like to be better. Their secondary's gotten a little weaker with the loss of Aqib Talib. Bradley Roby, somebody that the Broncos like to make a jump. Chris Harris is still a part of the secondary as well as Tremaine Brock. Number 12, this is a bit high for this team. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I mentioned that I don't love their outlook for this season. But I do like this team's defense. The addition of Jason Pierre-Paul and Vinny Curry will help the D-line. Vita Vea is a good draftee as well. Kwan Alexander's a solid linebacker. Levante David's still a really good player. Their secondary isn't that bad. Brent Grimes I like. Chris Conte's a good safety. Carlton Davis is going to be a good rookie. Vernon Hargraves is somebody that I expect to be better than he was in his rookie season. Number 11 is the Atlanta Falcons, who have a lot of underrated guys on the defensive side of the football because the Falcons are known to be an offensive-heavy team, which they are. Their D-line is pretty solid. Tarkist McKinney is someone who the Falcons really like. Their linebackers, I really like Deion Jones. He was pretty good in that Super Bowl. Vic Beasley, I like. Their secondary's okay. I like Keanu Neal, the safety. Desmond Trufant is somebody that had an impact for them. I like the drafting of Isaiah Oliver as well. Number 10 is the Baltimore Ravens. I don't love this team's outlook for the season, but they are going to have a pretty solid defense. Their line's good. I like Brandon Williams and Chris Wormley. They're okay players to have up there. Carl Davis I like. Terrell Suggs is still leading the linebacking core. CJ Mosley I like as well. Their secondary is okay. Anthony Everett, I think, was a good draft pick. I like Marlon Humphrey. I expect him to make a leap in year 2. Jimmy Smith's a good corner. Eric Weddle's a good safety. Number 9 is the Kansas City Chiefs. The strength of their team is their defense. Although they have some good offensive talent as well. Their D-line is still solid. Chris Jones is a good player. Derek Nandi could be a good pick in the draft. Justin Houston's still around to lead the edge rushing. I like Anthony Hitchens. He's a nice player. Terrence Smith I also like. Their secondary is still pretty good despite a couple losses. I like Eric Berry. And I think Traymon Smith will have an impact as a rookie. Number 8 is the Los Angeles Chargers. This ranking would be a lot higher if they didn't have some injuries to key players on the defensive side of the football. But I still like this defense led by Joey Bosa, who will lead the way with their defensive line. I also really, really like Denzel Perryman, the linebacker. And you can't forget about Melvin Ingram, who's also on that loaded defensive line. Their defensive backs are pretty solid despite losing Jason Verrett for the season due to a torn ACL. Desmond King's a good corner. I expect him to be better. I really like Casey Hayward as well. Number 7 is the Carolina Panthers. The strength of their team, despite having some good talent on the offensive side of the football, is their defense. They're similar to Kansas City in that standpoint. Their D-line's pretty good. I like Vernon Butler. Julius Peppers is a good veteran. Kawan Short's a good veteran. But the key cog of this defense is Luke Kuechly. He's a great linebacker in the league, one of the top 50 players in the entire league. I like Shaq Thompson as well. The secondary's okay. It's probably the weak part of their defense, but they have some solid defensive backs on there. Dante Jackson will have an impact as a rookie. I like Captain Mullerlin. He's a good veteran cornerback. Number 6 is the Los Angeles Rams. This team is pretty good on the defensive side of the football, and they're great on the offensive side of the football. This is the one of the most well-rounded teams in the entire league on both ends. They need Aaron Donald to report, and that is the key cog of their defense. Dominic Easley is a good D lineman. The Dominican Sue is going to be a good off-season acquisition. They did make some changes defensively with the loss of Alec Ogletree to the New York Giants. Mark Barron's a good linebacker. I think there's a couple rookie linebackers that can impacts on this team. Their secondary is improved with the additions of Marcus Peters and Aqib Talib. Sam Shields is a good corner as well. I think this is one of the favorites to go to the Super Bowl, if not win. This next ranking is a bit high for a team that has the reputation of an offense-only team who has a young defense that is really coming to its own last year, and that's the New Orleans Saints. This team's defense really took a big step forward last year. Cam Jordan leads the way with their defensive line. They traded up for Marcus Davenport. We'll see how that plays out. I like Trey Bromley. He's a good veteran. Their linebacking core is okay. Monte Teo is a solid player. Their secondary is the strength of their defense. They're led by second-year player Marshawn Lattimore. They have a couple other good defensive players in there as well, such as Patrick Robinson, the corner. P.J. Williams is solid. Marcus Williams, I believe, was the victim of the Stephon Diggs touchdown play in the divisional playoff game where they had that heartbreaking defeat. Number 4 is your reigning Super Bowl champion, Philadelphia Eagles. They're known for an offensive team, but their defense is solid as well. Their D-line is absolutely loaded. Michael Bennett, Fletcher Cox, Derek Barnett, I expect to be better. Haloti Ngata is a good player as well. Their linebacking core is pretty solid. I like Jordan Hicks. And their defensive backs aren't bad as well. Malcolm Jenkins has improved to be one of the better safeties in the league. I really like Jalen Mills, too. He's a solid corner. Trey Sullivan's a good safety. Ronald Darby's a good corner. Number 3 is a team that I expect, or a unit as a whole, to bounce back due to a couple of returnees due to injury, and that's the Houston Texans. This is going to be a loaded defensive team. J.J. Watt's back, and he'll lead the way defensively. He's the key cog to their defense. And I also really like Jadeveon Clowney, who's become one of the better defensive players in the league. Whitney Merciless, don't sleep on him. He was a big injury loss for them last year on that defense. Their secondary is probably the weaker part of their defense. Kevin Johnson's okay. Tyrann Mathieu will prove to be a good acquisition. Justin Reed will make an impact as a rookie. Number 2, the Minnesota Vikings. This is a loaded defensive team. They locked up all their stars on that side of the ball and even their offensive side of the football over the offseason. Danielle Hunter is one of the guys they locked up, as well as Everson Griffin. They lead the way on that defensive line to go with Linval Joseph. Sheldon Richardson, I think, will be a good player for them. Anthony Barr leads the way with their linebacking core. He's a solid player. Eric Hendricks is really good, too. Their secondary is awesome, led by Harrison Smith, the safety. He got paid in the offseason. Trey Waynes is somebody I think the Vikings would like to make a leap. Xavier Rhodes is a good corner. Mike Hughes, I think, will have an impact as a rookie. Mackenzie Alexander is a good player in the league, too. And number 1, the Jacksonville Jaguars. Yes, this defense is absolutely loaded. It's the big reason why this team overachieved a year ago and made the playoffs, led the way to the AFC title game to face the Patriots. You got their own Michael Bennett, Calais Campbell, Marcel Darius, Dante Fowler's somebody that's a bust, but maybe he'll finally get right. Malik Jackson, Yannick Ngakoue, all lead the way on that defensive line. Miles Jack is a good player that I expect to be better for them. Their secondary is absolutely loaded, led by Jalen Ramsey. And you also got some good defensive players in there as well. DJ Hayden, I think, will be okay, even though he's a bust. But maybe playing in a good defense will help him. Barry Church will be a good acquisition. A.J. Boyd's a good corner. Ronnie Harrison will have an impact as a rookie. Dexter McDougal's a good corner. Quentin Meeks will have an impact as a rookie. This is an absolutely loaded defense. And that's it for the defense rankings, and that's it for today's podcast. I'll be back tomorrow continuing the NFL rankings. I believe I switch over to individuals, and I'll do the running back rankings going into the season. That should be fun. I hope you guys have a great day, everybody.